Greetings, and welcome to Chaim's weekly podcast, recorded live in Richardson, Texas. We invite you now to join us for one of our synagogue's Shabbat messages.
I need some King Ahasueroses on the bima here. In fact, I'm going to have somebody become the real one and sit on this throne sometime or another. Let's see, do we have any kings in the house? No kings? No kings? There's not one King Ahasuerus in the house? Oh, they're on monitor over there. Yes. Not one king in the house. Oh, I think King David's around. Where's King David Schiller? He's around. Come on, King. Where are you? This scroll today, it's 45 minutes of reading. I don't know, 2 to 5-year-olds, you don't have to do that. But the older ones, if you don't get lost in the story, it's going to be forever. So what does that mean? Oh, the scroll started out, this is what happened in the days of King Ahasuerus. There's no king around here, I guess it's me. Oh, here's one. Adults. This Ahasuerus ruled over 127 provinces from India to Ethiopia. Who was this king? Was it Cyrus the Great? King of kings, king of the world? King of the four corners of the earth? Was it Cyrus the Great? He ruled from 539 to 530. Was it King Cyrus the Great? No. Was it his son Cambyses the Great, king of kings? He was Pharaoh of Egypt. He went down, expanded the empire, took over the world, and he was in charge of Egypt as well as Persia. Oh, he ruled from 530 to 522. Was it Bardia, Gautama the Great? He was an imposter or pretender. He was in there for a year, gone, 522. Was it Darius the First, the Great? No, Elizabeth's back there. King of kings, yes. King of the world, Pharaoh of Egypt, yes. Son of Histaspes? Was it Xerxes the First, the Great? Oh, there's a vote back there for Xerxes the First. Xerxes the First, the Great, King of kings, Pharaoh of Egypt, ruled from 485 to 465. Son of Darius the First. Darius the Mede, and who is this Xerxes the First? Well, he had a son, Artaxerxes the First. Oh, he ruled from 465 to 424. He was king of kings, Pharaoh of Egypt, son of Xerxes the First, and yes, believed by many to be King Ahasuerus. Only recognized in Persia, by the way. And then he was killed by Sogdianus. Sogdianus took over the throne. And Sogdianus, the great king, king of kings, Pharaoh of Egypt, what about him? He ruled from 424 to 423. He didn't go long enough. But he had a son. No, he didn't. Artaxerxes the First had a son, Darius the Second. And you know when he ruled? 424 to 404. Now this book, we don't know when it was written, like 460 to 350 or something. It was written after the event. Or was it written by Mordecai? Yes, it was written by Mordecai. Okay, so it's written by Mordecai. But you know, the Jewish Talmud is saying it was Artaxerxes II. How do you like that in Megillah? Megillah 11b. It says Artaxerxes II, who was king of kings, ruled from 404 to 358. The Talmud says it was Artaxerxes II, who was the great-grandson of Xerxes I. My goodness, no wonder we have confusion. There's like 70 or 80 years flying around, and the Jewish sources are different in the Talmud than they are in the book of Esther itself. So what are we going to believe, the Talmud or the book of Esther? Okay. At the time, verse 2, that King Ahasuerus sat on his royal throne at the castle in Shushan. See that? He's sitting there. That's the king. He sat on his royal throne, and in the 3rd year of his reign, he gave a banquet for all his princes and his servants, the leaders of Persia, Media, plus the nobles and the officials. He displayed vast wealth. He was a big guy, and he had all kinds of partying going on. Everybody in the world came, and he had a party for 180 days. Party time in Persia. Lavish decadence, luxury, bureaucracy, and protocol to excess. So what was going on there? The banquet lasted for how long? 7 days. And where was it? In the garden court of the king's palace, where all the people were present, in the palace of Shushan, from the greatest to the least of all the people. There were white and blue linen curtains hung. There was silver rings and marble columns, gold and silver couches, mosaic pavement of alabaster, marble, mother of pearl, minerals. It was wealth everywhere. Wine was served in golden goblets, each different from the other, and was given to the guests, and they could drink as much as they wanted. Whether wine to some adults and grape juice to others. In keeping with the law, there were no restrictions, verse 8, on drinking. You could have as much grape juice as you wanted. And he told the supervisors of the household to comply with each person's desire. In addition, Queen Vashti. Where's a queen? I need one. Come up here. Here's Queen Vashti for a day. Queen Vashti! Yay! Vashti, you're beautiful. You're so beautiful. Queen Vashti came in. She held a banquet for the women in the royal court. I need all the women over here for the banquet. 2 to 5-year-olds, come on over for the banquet with Queen Vashti. Everybody get over here and look at Vashti and look at each other. This is your own private party going on. You're having a party. You know, it was considered indecent for wives to attend the male drinking parties, adults. So the only female attendants at the adult parties were dancing girls. Shh, I didn't hear that. Vashti refuses to appear. What happened? On the 7th day, when the heart of the king was merry from wine, he asked his 7 people, Memucan, Bizetta, Harbona, Bigta, Abadka, Zetar, and Carcass, the 7 eunuchs who attended us, Ahasuerus the king, to bring Queen Vashti before the king, wearing the royal crown. So you were summoned to the king's court. Can you believe it? And what were you saying? You're saying, I'm not going in there with all those dancing girls, right? No way. They wanted you to just wear a royal diadem and go in there. Adults. So Vashti, if you were Queen Vashti, how would you respond to such an invitation? No way. Wear your crown and go in? No. But Queen Vashti refused to come at the king's command conveyed by the eunuchs. Then the king became angry. He went crazy. He went, I told my wife to come, and she would come. He almost lost his crown over that. So the king consulted his wise men, and he said, what's going to go on here? I need to consult you in matters of law, in matters of justice. And those closest to him were Karshan, Shetar, Admatha, Tarshish, Meres, and Memucan, the 7 princes of Persia, Media, who were access to the king's presence and were the highest in the kingdom. They had this royal consult. What are we going to do? Law and justice. Yeah, I don't know. The queen won't come. Yeah, well, we better do something, because even if it's wrong, we better do something. Yeah, but there's a banquet going on and the queen won't come. Well, we can't forget about it. What are we going to do? And then Memucan answered in the presence of the king and the princes, Queen Vashti has wronged not only the king, but all the people in the provinces of King Ahasuerus. For the queen's contact will go out to all the women, and the women will hear this, and they're going to say, your husbands are contemptible because you guys don't do what the husbands will say, and then Persia will be up for grabs. And these royal nobility said, They, had a little bit of grape juice to drink as they were going, this is trouble in the household. That very day, the Persian noblewomen who have heard of the matter concerning the queen will respond similarly to all the king's princes. There'll be no end of the contempt and anger. Why, our houses are going to fall apart. Oh, I need some grape juice. Vodka. That thing's loaded. So, if it pleases the king, let a royal command go forth from him, and let it be written in the laws of Persian media, which cannot be repealed, which cannot be broken. No exceptions. that Vashti may not come into the presence of King Ahasuerus. Let the king give her royal status to another who's more worthy than she. And the king's edict will enact and be proclaimed throughout the kingdom so that all the wives will give their husbands honor from the greatest to the least. And Vashti got banished. Oh, he kicked her out. He kicked her off the stage. He kicked her out. And all you guys, you're with her. So go over there with her. Oh. The matter pleased the king and the princes, to each province in his own script, each people in their own language, that every man should be in charge of his household and speak the language of his own people. And so the matter rested. So Esther comes along. After these things, when King Ahasuerus' anger subsided, he remembered Vashti and what she'd done and what had been decreed against her. And the king's servants who attended him, let a search be made on the king's behalf for beautiful, beautiful young women in the kingdom. Because a new wife, we're needing a new wife for the king. And you know who they found? Somebody named Star in the Persian. Esther. If you speak Persian, brilliant star. But in the Hebrew, if you speak it, what do you call it? Hadassah. And Hadassah means hidden one. Myrtle. Myrtle. Myrtle is fragrant. You put it with the lulav and you've got fragrance. It's part of the whole Sukkot crown to welcome back God. The girl was attractive and had a beautiful figure. They called that in the Hebrew, Yifat Toar. And Rachel, the same words were used for Rachel. So you got a little Rachel coming along. And when her father and mother died, Mordecai had taken her as his own daughter. Mordecai? After the king's order, the decree became known. Many young women were assembled in the palace. They had this beauty contest. The young women were looking to find Hesed. He provided people with all kinds of ornaments. He provided them with great clothing. He provided them with fragrance, beautiful perfume and everything else. And the 6 months they'd be in oil and myrrh, and for 6 months in perfume and women's cosmetics. The young woman would go to the king in this way. Whatever he asked for, it was given from the women's house to the king's palace. And in the evening he would go, in the morning he would return. They had this big, long beauty contest. The thing took like forever. And then Esther was taken to King Ahasuerus at his royal house. And on the 10th month, which is the month of Tevet, on the 7th year of his reign, now the king loved Esther more than all of these young women. She won grace and favor. Grace and favor. I need Esther. Oh, come on. Look at this. Esther. Yay. You win. You're the best. Let's do a circle over your new crowning. Esther was crowned queen. In those days, while Mordecai was sitting at the king's gate, Bigthan and Teresh, two of the king's eunuchs who guarded the doorway, became angry and conspired to assassinate the king. But Mordecai found out about the plot and he told it to Queen Esther. Hey, come on over here. Come on up. Mordecai, where are you? I need a Mordecai.
This guy right here.
Yeah, the guy with the hair job. Come on up here. I need a Mordecai. Up on the stage here. On the stage. Whoever's Mordecai, you're bold. Come on up. Wait a minute. It's you. You got to come up. I'm going to come get you next. You got to come. Oh, somebody got to take care of the daughter. Come on up, Mordecai. Whisper in her ear. Tell her about the plot. There's a plot. Oh, my. When the matter was investigated, because Esther went back and looked, they found who these two guys were, Bigthan and Teresh, the two king's eunuchs who guarded the doorway. And you know what they did to them? They hung them. Both of them. Gone. And it was written in the book of the Chronicles in the king's presence. that Mordecai told him the truth. Sometime later, King Ahasuerus promoted Haman the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite. Who's an Agagite? Who's King Agag? He's a bad guy. Saul caught him one time. Saul was supposed to put him to the sword, right? Saul didn't do it. What happened? What did Samuel do? Samuel. And where is Agag's descendant? Where does he go back to? Amalek. Okay, you got a real Amalekite here. So Agag, who Saul, not Samuel, spared, all the king's servants who were at the king's gate bowed down and paid honor to Haman. For the king had commanded it, but Mordecai wasn't going to do it. That made Haman really lose it. Haman turned red. He went into a fit of rage. It was completely repugnant, it says here in the text. Chapter 3, verse 6. In his eyes to lay hands on Mordecai alone, for he'd learned the identity of Mordecai's people. So Haman sought to destroy all the Jews in the land in order to get to Haman, in order to get to Mordecai too. In the first month, that is the month of Nisan. Now listen to this. The first month, the month of what? On the 13th day, in the presence, the 12th month, in the first day, in the 12th year of King Ahasuerus, they cast the poor. What's a poor? They cast lots in the presence of Haman. From day to day and month to month, they checked it out. This day, this month, this month, this month, this month. And finally decided on the 12th month, which is the month of Adar. And Haman said to King Ahasuerus, this is a certain people scattered and dispersed among your peoples in all the provinces of your kingdom, whose laws differ from those of every other people, and who do not obey the king's laws. It is not in the king's interest to tolerate them. If it pleases the king, let an edict be written to destroy them. I will pay 10,000 talents of silver. That's what Haman said. In today's terms, you know how much that is? Adults. 10,000 talents of silver. Herodotus says the annual income of the empire was 14,500 euboic talents of silver. In today's terms, that's $17.5 trillion. At a 3% growth rate, that's $550 billion. And 2/3 of that, U.S. province would be $330 billion, or about 17 million pounds of gold. You know how much 17 million pounds of gold is? 13 statues of liberty. Haman said, here's 13 statues of liberty in gold. Well, I'm giving it to you in silver even more in order to make this edict to knock out all the Jews so I get Mordecai. So the king took a signet ring from his hand. You're Mordecai. Oh, there he is. King took his signet ring from his hand and he gave it to Haman. And the king said to Haman, the silver and the Jews are yours. You do what you please. That's what the king said. It's right in chapter 3, verse 12. Yeah, verse 11. The king's scribes were summoned in the first month on the 13th day. You know when that is? Yeah, it's the day before Passover. This edict went out. You know this fast of Esther on the 13th of Adar? When were they really fasting? The 13th of Nisan. When is the 13th of Nisan? The day before Passover. And what did Esther ask for? A 3-day fast? You mean during Passover, when we're supposed to eat matzah, Esther was saying 3-day fast? That's the scripture. 13th day, an edict was written as Haman had commanded. Everything was written. The king's provincial governors and the officials who were in every province and the officials of every people, province by province, according to the script and people by people, according to its language. It was in the name of King Ahasuerus. It was sealed with the king's ring. Dispatches went throughout the kingdom everywhere stating to slaughter, destroy, and annihilate all the Jews. From the youth to the elderly, both little children and women, on a single day, the 13th day of the 12th month of Adar, and to plunder their possessions. Copy edict was to be issued as law in every province. It was sent out everywhere, and the people in the city of Shushan were dumbfounded, while the people in the king's palace sat down to eat. Do you remember what happened to Joseph? Do you remember what the brothers did when they threw him in the pit? Do you remember after they threw him in the pit, they sat down to eat? When Mordecai learned what was to be done, he tore his clothes, he put on sackcloth and ashes, and he sat in the dust. Esther's maids and eunuchs came and told her the queen was greatly distressed. She sent clothes to Mordecai to put on so that he wouldn't be sitting there in the sackcloth. But Mordecai refused. So Esther summoned Hatak, one of the king's eunuchs, who had appointed to attend her, and ordered him go to Mordecai and find out the reason. Hatak went to Mordecai, who was sitting in dust and ashes. She'd given a rook, and Mordecai told him everything that happened, even the exact amount of money that Haman had promised to pay the king's treasuries for the destruction of the Jews. He also gave Hatak a written copy of the decree, which had been distributed to Shushan for the annihilation of all Jews, and said, show this to Esther and explain it to her. Tell her what's going on. She doesn't know what's going on. Oh, that's horrible what you told her. Oh, she really got some bad news there and in a hurry. Then Esther spoke to Hatak and gave him instructions for Mordecai. Quote, all the king's servants and the people of the king's provinces fully understand that for anyone, man or woman, who approaches the king in the inner courtyard without being summoned, his one law is to be put to death unless the king extends the golden scepter. Yeah, that's right. You're sitting there. We got no king. We got no golden scepter. I can't believe what's happening up here. Hey, come up here. You're the best. Look at this. Oh, we've got the real king here. Let's give him a hand. Yay! You're the guy. You get to sit here in the throne room. You're in charge. Somebody got to give him a gold scepter or something like it. Oh, there, we need that. Bring that up here. Hey, look at this. This is yours. You take this is yours. Now, if you wave that at somebody, they can come see you. And if you don't wave at them, we're going to take them out over there and we're going to put them on the ground and we're going to stab them. So it's up to you, okay? It's tough out there. So Esther told everybody, let's fast. We got to fast for 3 days. Because if I go into the inner court and I walk in there, you know what's going to happen? And you know what happened? I mean, Vashti got kicked out, and after that, the king had the decree. And I got to go in Vashti's place. He won't give me that gold scepter, and I'm going to be toast. Toast. So you're the guy that has to go in there, right? So you're going to go first. I want you over here. Sit down here, make sure they can see your head. But you're fasting. You got to get down on you got to get down. Yeah, now you're fasting for 3 days. 3 days. It's the 13th of Adar. No, the 13th of Nisan. And then it's the 14th of Nisan. You know what that is? Slaughter the lambs. And then it's the 15th of Nisan. And you're up. You get up. The whole kingdom's still fasting, but you're done. And you're going to appear in the morning there. So you're going in there, and you're looking at the king, and the king's going, hey, who's in the inner court? You say, hey, who's in the inner court? Say, hey. Well, I'm sorry. Say, hey, who's in the inner court? Can you say that? Say, hey. He's pretty good as a king. Kings are strong, silent types. Now you got to take this and either extend it to her, or I'm going to take her down there and I'm going to take her shoes off. It's up to you. You want me to take her shoes off, huh? Give her that so I can take her shoes off or not. Here, extend this. Here's what you do. So you want to do that? Let's see you do it. Let's go. There she is. Hey, she gets to come in. Oh, she was lucky because of you. Nice crown. You're in charge. So Esther said, listen, I put on my royal apparel and I talked to the king and I said, I want a banquet and can you invite Mordecai and how about come to a banquet? So then they go to the banquet and she's come back to the banquet and do it again the next day. And then they come the next day. Okay. And now what? In between that night after the first banquet, sleep deserted the king. So he ordered the book of Chronicles, the record of the king, and the record of his reign to be brought in and read before the king. It was found there that Mordecai had revealed that Bigtana and Teresh, two of the king's eunuchs who guarded the door, had conspired to kill the king. You just found out that somebody was trying to kill you. You just found that out. You said, has anything been done for the guys that saved my life? So you want to ask, you've put the scepter out there if you want to ask who was done. There it is. And you want to know who saved your life? We're going to tell you who it was. It was Mordecai. He did it. He saved you. He saved you. He saved you. So what do you say should be done for him? Well, you're thinking about it. So you're busy thinking about it. And then Haman replied. Well, they went in there. So the king says to Haman, who was in the outer court, I need a Haman guy. No Hamans around in this place. I don't blame you. I think Haman should be banished. So they said to him, if the king wants to honor somebody, what should be done to honor somebody? He said, well, if you're going to honor somebody, they should wear what the king wore, and they should be on the king's horse, and they should be on the king's horse, and the king's horse should have a crest on it that looks like a crown. In fact, he should walk around on a crowned king's horse and be greeted around. This is the man who the king wants to honor. And the king said, do it for Mordecai. So then Haman had to take Mordecai. Let's go here. I need an usher. I need an usher with a horse. I need somebody to escort Haman around, Mordecai around. There it is. Put the royal purple on. Oh, look at this. Where's the usher? And now you usher him around. You walk around here. You go before him and say, here's the man who the king wants to honor. You go before him. Here's the man. Hey, you got to go over there too. Take him over there. The whole kingdom. All right. Come on up. Chapter 7. So the king and Haman came in to dine with Queen Esther on the next day. And as they were drinking grape juice on the second day, the king asked Esther, whatever you request, even as much as half the kingdom will be given to you. So Queen Esther answered, if I found favor in the eyes of the king, and it pleases the king to grant me my life. Oh, and here's her exact words. We have been sold, I and my people, for destruction, for slaughter, and for annihilation. Those same three words. Same three words as Haman's edict in Esther 3. If we'd simply been sold as male and female slaves. She's saying this on what day? 15th of Nisan. She's saying if we had simply been sold as slaves. And you know what tomorrow is for the Christian calendar? Resurrection Sunday. So what's today in the Christian calendar? It was just like today, folks. I would have remained silent, for such distress would not be worth disturbing the king. King Ahasuerus responded to Queen Esther. Who is he? And where is the man that presumed to do this wickedness? And Esther replied, the man, the adversary and foe, is this wicked Haman. Then Haman was terrified, and he cringed before the king and the queen. Enraged, the king got up from the banquet of wine and withdrew to the palace garden. But Haman was terrified. Oh, I need Esther now to be sitting on this couch over here. Oh, great king. Come over here and watch what's going to happen now. You're going to come in enraged. You're going to look here. She's sitting there on the couch now. And Haman goes over to plead for his life. And you know what Haman does? He falls down on the couch. And then the king came back, and you know what he sees? Here, I need you for a minute. I need you. You're acting like you're going to be Haman. Here's what I want. I want you on your knees over here. Got on your knees. You got to get on your knees. On your knees. Can you get down? Yeah, that's good. And put your hand there. And here it is. Here's what it looked like. And then you walked in and you saw this. Look at this. Oh! Now I want you to say, turn around and say, hang him. Everybody help him. You did it. So, there was a political thing going on here because when Haman was falling on the couch where Esther was, the king exclaimed, will he also assault the queen while she is with me in the palace? So, in many ways, this goes back, adults, to Ahithophel's plan with David and to what happened with Absalom and what happened with Adonijah. You get to see Haman's head being covered and him being taken out. You get to see somebody paraded around on the king's mule, the king's donkey. These are all overtones of what happened when you're dealing with who's going to be coronated, who's going to be royalty in the king. The political connotation of attempting to take the kingship, Ahithophel's advice to Absalom to sleep with David's concubines, and also Nathan's prophecy to David for looking upon Bathsheba from the roof. You have this picture that replays itself. As soon as these words came out of the king's mouth, you know what they did? Same thing that happened when David was getting kicked out. They covered his head. Oh, you know what they do? They cover your head and they drag you out over here. So you get to go off stage now. You succeeded. You did a good job. Go over there. Good job. Now you come back to your perch. Good job. All right, we're near the end here. That same day, King Ahasuerus gave Queen Esther the estate of Haman. Then Mordecai came into the presence of the king, for Esther had revealed how he was related to her. the king took off his signet ring, which he had taken back, and he gave it to Mordecai. Here, you got to give him a ring. Give him your signet ring. Give him a ring here. Put a ring on him. Give him a ring. There you go. That's the ring. Look. Signet ring. Oh. And Esther said, how can I endure seeing the disaster that will fall on my people with this decree out there? And King Ahasuerus said to Queen Esther and Mordecai the Jew, I've decided to give Haman's estate to Esther. And as for the Jews and all that's good seems good to you, you got the ring now, you write a decree and do whatever you want in the decree. And you got a few months to do it, so write the decree. So he did. And the king's scribes were called, and on the 23rd day of the third month, the month of Sivan, it was written according to all Mordecai commanded, all the Jews, as well as the officials, governors, and advisors of the 127 provinces that stretch from India to Ethiopia. This decree was written in the name of King Ahasuerus, and the king granted the right for the Jews in every city, this is chapter 8, verse 11, to assemble themselves and to protect themselves, to destroy, to annihilate, to kill all the people that would come against the Jewish people. But interestingly enough, when that day came, the Jewish people did not plunder any possessions. They simply took care of the people that were wanting to kill them. Yes?
Am I done?
Yeah, you're done. Well, you get to sit on the throne now because you're Queen Vashti. Yeah. Mordecai went out from the king's presence dressed in blue and white and purple. Look at him. I always told you he was right for the part. Come on up here. You're the guy. Strut around. Look at this. Blue and white and purple. It's decreed. And he went out with the king's presence in blue and white, and he had a large gold crown. You're in charge of everything now. Look at this. For the Jews, there was light and gladness, joy and honor throughout every day. When the king's edict and his law went out, the Jews had gladness and joy, banquets and holidays. Many people of the land became, and here's the word, mit Yehudim, became or professed to become or pretended to be Yehudim, or declared themselves Yehudim. In other words, being Jewish was in. And that happened where? In downtown Tehran. I mean, in Persia. You know, they're already getting ready for it. I understand they're learning to write Hebrew. They put it on one of their, toys. Consequently, on the 13th day of the 12th month, the king's edict and his law drew near, and the Jews went out, and they got everybody in the provinces, but then one extra day, the 15th of Shushan, the 15th of Adar, in the capital city, there was another group of people. And you're good at reading? This is really tough. I need an adult that can read.
I can read.
You can read? All right, you're up. You have to read these 10 names in one breath. That's a tradition. Let's go.
Parshan, Datha, Dalphon.
Faster, one breath.
Datha, Paratha, Adalia, Aridatha, Parmashta, Arisai, Aride, Vaitha.
That's it. Now that we can do it together now, right? These are the 10 sons of Haman, and you got to read them all in one shot. So here's what the sons' names were again. Go. Parshandata, Dalphon, Aspata, Porata, Adalia, Aridata, Parmashta, Arisai, Arida, and Vazata. You did it! Haman lost 1 million of sons that day. Haman lost 1 million of sons. And you and me, we're. And then the king said to Queen Esther, is there anything more that you want? And she said, well, Mordecai could record all the events. So Mordecai recorded the events. He sent letters to all the Jews throughout the provinces. There was feasting and celebration and sending food and presents to one another and giving gifts to the poor. So the Jews agreed to continue the commemoration and to do what Mordecai had written to them. And after that, the king and the queen lived happily ever after with all the Jews in the provinces of Persia. So the whole thing can be summarized in 3 sentences. They tried to kill us. They failed. Let's eat.
For more information, visit us at www.etzheim.org. That's spelled EITZ-CHAIM.org. Or join us in Richardson, Texas for our weekly Shabbat services.